Once a big club comes calling, he'll be on his way. Like, piss off, will you? So, John, whilst I've got you, we've just come off the back of filming our Inside Bodymore show. This is the second upload that we've put on the YouTube channel today. If you missed our preview show for Forest, that's on the channel that you can go back and watch. It's still Friday evening for us. We're still wearing the same things. I just wanted something else I wanted to talk about that I didn't want to swamp the other video with. This is a separate upload for people watching or listening if we go on for long enough. I want to talk about Jamie Carragher a little bit. This isn't necessarily a dig at just him, but because he's the one who's written the most recent article about Unai Emery, he's the one that my frustration is thrown towards. But this could be insert any journalist or pundit that is going to disrespect Unai Emery in the next week or two while Villa continue to be very, very good. He's written a piece in the Telegraph. I'm only going to read you the intro. Aston Villa should cherish Unai Emery whilst they can. It is a matter of time before an established Champions League club makes him an offer he can't refuse. Sorry to put a dampener on Villa fans' upbeat mood after a brilliant start to the season, but this is the reality of the sport. Owners and sporting directors can see the quality and impact of Emery's work at Villa Park, and he will be on their wanted lists. Now, I agree with that. Unai Emery's done a brilliant job. People will stand up and take notice of him if you're about to sack your manager. You'll be looking at Emery and thinking, well, he's done a good job at Villa. We might have more resources to spend or a better squad than Aston Villa have got. If we take him and bring him in, that should work. My frustration here is it's not simple as that. And people have kind of overlooked the fact of the control that Emery has got at Aston Villa. And it's not as simple just to pluck the manager from this environment and put him into yours and expect it to work. Let's take Man United as the obvious example. With Ten Hag seemingly on the way out of Man United, if he gets another couple of bad results, people are going, well, Unai Emery would jump at the chance to go to Old Trafford and Man United. They're one of the biggest clubs in England. And whilst that's also true, they're in a state at the moment. The stadium's falling apart. The quality is not there. The ownership is a huge problem. Why would Unai Emery commit career suicide by going to Man United at this point in time? I just find the whole thing so disrespectful towards him and Aston Villa that it's just like, oh, well, they're doing good, but stay in your lane, guys. When the Champions League club comes for him, he'll jump at the chance. That's just not true.
Nope, it's not true, no. I would go as far as to say it's a little bit insulting, to be honest.
It is, yeah.
For Villa fans, for Aston Villa as a football club, and a little bit to Emery, to just presume that, what was it that was said? Again, I'll start by saying this isn't just Carragher. We've heard from other pundits, Andy Goldstein on TalkSport, and I understand it's part of the, it's the talk show. It's the here's my opinion sort of element to it. But now here's our opinion as the Villa fans. Emery, again, I think it is a bit insulting because to think that Emery would walk away from a project that he's building, that he specifically picked, by the way, and he'd walk away for a bigger offer. No, firstly, we don't know exactly what the contract is that Unai Emery is on, but it's the longest in the club's history. It will be, no doubt, the most financially lucrative of the club's history. And this is a club that is now backed by one of the richest men in Africa, one of the richest men in the Premier League. And I'm fully aware that doesn't buy you anything. Villa fans know that best than most, right? But to suggest that Unai Emery would give up everything that he's building and give up the relations that he has within the club, that he's said to his close friends, come here, stay in Birmingham, relocate your families and all of that, unless he's going to another club that is, I don't know, insert club, Manchester United, who have leaky roofs. They've promised me this. Emery is not that stupid. He's not going to walk away from the project he's building. And, as I say, the record that he's got at Villa now, this is exactly the reason why he came to Villa. Why would he then suddenly jump ship? Even a year down the line, I don't think that's going to happen. He's already speaking today in the press conference about his plan of getting into the Europa League, winning that to then get into the Champions League. So he wants to get in the Champions League within about 2 years. It's just, I brand it as insulting. And again, I don't think someone like Jamie Carragher, who I respect, is a very good pundit, by the way. I think he's probably the best, in my opinion. However, I just do think Aston Villa at the moment are a football club that people gaze upon and have only just realised that they're doing well. Emery has, apart from Guardiola, as we all know, got the most points in the Premier League since he took over, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Villa are in fifth and they've won a few games and all of this and they're scoring a lot of goals. Oh, manager must be taken out of this environment and into an environment that's worse. Man United are by far a worse run club than Aston Villa.
Yeah.
So again, there's no link to Man United. It's just that that's the club that is most, I suppose, likely to have a sacked manager, I suppose, in the coming weeks. So then when it happens, if that happens, Emery will be named by pundits as someone who could go in there. But you need to start on the first part, which is, well, why is Emery at Aston Villa and why is he not somewhere else? And that's a large reason is behind his decision of coming to a club that he knows he can work with. He knows he can work with the players, build relationships, as I've said, and really foster something quite remarkable, which is what he's doing now. If he goes to another club and does something, then, well, hey, great. He's won things before. He doesn't need to go to somewhere like an Arsenal again, where he's just going to be mocked, which is a joke. So, yeah, I think it's quite short-sighted to just index him to a job which doesn't even exist.
The environment is just so different, and Emery already knows that, having worked at Arsenal and PSG. He's not given the power that he's had at Aston Villa. We've all seen the hierarchy chart graphic thing, haven't we, that the Athletic did 6 months ago or whatever, that you've got the owners and Johan Langer at the time and whoever else, and Emery and all these people around him. Basically, Emery is on par with the owners. Like, if he says, I want this, they say, yeah, okay. Like, he makes decisions across the board. Like, pretty much everybody of a senior position across the club, apart from Chris Heck probably, is an Unai Emery appointment, effectively. That's somebody he wanted at the club in the football department. Yeah, exactly. The transfers will be down to him. Like, he's got everything he wants, and just plucking him into Man United or Chelsea or Bayern Munich or whoever, they're not going to say, yeah, okay, well, you can come and you can bring these 25 staff members with you as well. We're going to change all our senior appointments across the board and give you everyone you want. It's never going to happen basically anywhere else. So, yes, he's a good manager, but it's the same things we've said about players and managers in the past, where people go, oh, Ivan Toney's a good player, I'll have him. We don't know that he probably would. We don't know that he would work outside what Brentford have got going well there. The same for Thomas Frank as the manager, because they're built around that player and that system. It's exactly the same for Emery, but people who aren't Villa fans and haven't paid enough attention haven't quite realised how much power he's got. So for somebody as intelligent and well-respected as Jamie Carragher is to write a story just going, well, make the most of it, guys, because it'll end at some point, is so disrespectful and just wrong.
Firstly, if Real Madrid and Barcelona came calling in 2 years or whoever, simply we don't know if Emery will be interested in it or not. But that's not the point we're trying to raise it. It's the point of, Aston Villa shouldn't have nice things, but this other club who are underperforming or whatever it may be, they deserve that. Or he would go to that. Of course he would. He'd jump at that opportunity. No, he wouldn't. No, he really would not do that, because you need to look at his career as a whole anyway. He's very selective of what clubs he would go to, and especially over the experiences he's had in the past, he's going to be selective again. And what I would say for Spanish clubs, just as a side point, they are fully aware of what Unai Emery is capable of before he's done this at Aston Villa. They probably predicted it. You know what I mean? It's only in England where his stock, for some reason, was so low, it was to the point of, Emery's coming back to the Premier League with Villa. Villa fans don't expect good football. And here he is outscoring almost all the teams. Yeah, it's incredible that narrative can just shift, and then we don't know what's going to happen years down the line, but we're just talking here right now. Villa have been very good for a long time, but all of a sudden it's a case of, Villa, yes, they can disrupt the top four and whatever, and that's what Carragher said in this piece. But I think, you're right, to open it, whether you should cherish him because it's not going to last forever, that sort of thing. Well, it might not last forever, but it should be lasting for a few years. And if another club come calling, then again, he doesn't have everything that, or he has very little to what he has at Villa. And again, I think it's that point of, what they could offer him would be better. He doesn't want more money. Everyone wants more money, but he's not going to get a life-changing package that he'd take, because his life is football. And I know money is important, but he would rather succeed at Villa than go somewhere for more money, knowing he's probably going to fail because he doesn't have the tools he requires. And that isn't anything against him as a head coach. It's just quite simple that Ten Hag, by the way, is a brilliant head coach, a brilliant manager, but he's going to fail at Man United because he's at Man United. No club in world football can offer Emery what he has at Villa in terms of a structure, in terms of football and player development, and what he's going to give in terms of results and what he can do. Yes, other teams can offer more money. That's potentially a given in certain clubs because of FFP and things like that. But trust me, I'm pretty sure he's on a healthy contract. There's a reason why he came to Villa in the first place, and he's not going to let that go, especially when it's going this well. And just because certain pundits want to put him in place for as I say, teams that don't deserve someone like Emery, and he knows that.
When we click things up on social media or we get YouTube comments from people that aren't Villa fans, the narrative is the same of the neutral or the pundit that just goes, well, this won't last. And once a big club comes calling, he'll be straight out the door. And it's just people that just don't know. They just don't understand it to the same level that Villa fans do. And if Ten Hag was sacked in the next 3 weeks and Emery's name was top 3 of the bookies odds and he was on the Sky Sports ticker every so often that Man United are willing to speak to X, Y and Z, I wouldn't even be sweating about it. I've got no concerns at any point in the next year or two that Unai Emery is going to leave, especially Man United of all clubs. There's no chance he goes to Man United, possibly ever. He's 52 today as we record this. I say manages till he's 75. I'm not naive enough to think that he's going to be here for the next 23 years, although it is possible. 3, 4, 5 years down the line, yes, maybe he does leave. Maybe Real Madrid come calling and it's an offer he can't refuse, and he's already won the Europa League with Villa and we've had a couple of seasons in the Champions League or whatever it is, but Real Madrid are Real Madrid and he has to go. That's fine. I'm happily accepting that could happen one day. But this idea that as soon as Man United come for him or Chelsea come for him, he'll jump ship at Aston Villa and leave them in the mire and go over there is absolute nonsense. And sadly, Jamie Carragher, as much as I respect most of his opinions, is absolutely wrong on this one. And I think a lot of Villa fans will be telling him that.
Yeah, it's nothing for Villa fans to like worry about, that sort of thing. But it is something for us to get angry about because we know football fan likes their club to be kind of. I wouldn't say dragged in the mud at all, because Carragher is very respectful of Villa. He loves Villa Park, that sort of thing, and a lot of pundits do. But it just seems to be, Villa haven't been in the Champions League for, however long, I don't know, or the European Cup. But to kind of categorise us as a team that, you've had your run now. The good times are over for you, that sort of thing. It's, in my opinion anyway, and in Unai Emery's opinion, it's only just getting started. So kind of more of these articles are going to come out and hopefully they'll eventually stop. And once they do, that's when we know that we've made it under Unai. That's the dream. Yeah,
and I mean, like we said, with the Ten Hag one is the most obvious one. If he's sacked in the next month or so and Emery is on the radar and doesn't go, that's the end of the conversation, because the opportunity was there for him to go, because there's no manager at Man United anymore. If he doesn't go, that's the end of the conversation. And that's probably the end of this little video as well. Leave your thoughts on Jamie Carragher's column in the comments if you want to, and what me and John have said. If you disagree, let us know. If you agree, which I'm sure most will, Villa fans at least anyway, would love to hear from you. Like you said, John, this isn't just about Carragher. There has been others, and there will be others. There'll be Jermaine Genius on Match of the Day in 3 weeks saying exactly the same thing, and that'll be more annoying, because who cares about Jermaine Genius? But this won't be the last time that Unai Emery is linked with a big club and a big job. But he's got a big club on his hands at the moment with Aston Villa and a big job to get them back into the Champions League, and that's what he wants to do. So leave him to it.
Basically, so yeah. And just saying, the piece that Carragher wrote, by the way, was excellent. It was actually really complimentary of Emery and Villa and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know how you can lead with that first line. Yeah, we've already explained it, but it's just frustrating and a bit insulting, I think, to the club and Unai, that it was, you got to go elsewhere. It's not the case at all.